Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, riveting, and amazing Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, the one, the only master of propaganda, hero of sight, defender of the fatherland, off here to another glorious, wondrous 1v1 here on Amilly Fields in the south. It is Tiramisu fighting for the Red Army, the Soviet Union, Comrade Stalin. Here with the 12th Mechanized Corps with shock rifle featuring the KV-8, anti-tank and ambush tactics, shock troopers, incendiary artillery barrages, and the eyes to every tank in the north. It is Spaget Man. Fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland. Here rolling out with the 16th Panzer Grenadier Division with assault support, Spearhead, and Jaeger Infantry. So off to the races here on Amilly Fields, and as always, a big hearty thanks to my patrons, supporters, champion heroes, one and all. My own company heroes, that's for sure. Other people can join these illustrious ranks by pledging on Patreon, or they can consider donating via PayPal. Links in the description. And finally, commenting, liking, sharing, subscribing helps me out as well there. So off to the races we are, though. In the south, Tiramisu still advances with two country squads here. Grenadier MD42 here for Spagetman and the German army here. Machine gun, of course, being hauled along there on a tripod. Moving westwards there for the heavy version, of course. There was also technically a second tripod they used when they were using it in anti-aircraft mode, which could better aim upwards. Fun fact there. Third consort there for Tiramisu. Shock rifle is definitely one of those much rare commanders nowadays. We're willing to see how he actually makes use of it. Second Grenadier Squad there for Spagetman, consuming forwards there. Third one the way there for Tiramisu. Sandbags down, grab the eastern point here. Seize the western point. MD42 setting up there. Second gun squad almost done. Ground western fuel point here. So far, steady stuff here. Loads of sandbags here from Tiramisu. Nice and consistent stuff. Pioneers busy with their own sandbags in the far east. Second gear squad there for Tiramisu, which, you know, considering the typical build, that means he's definitely I think going to go for a shock trooper squad here. That sort of build he leaves German for like calling in elite troops for that as well there. So I'm very likely thinking we're going to be seeing shock troops here from Tiramisu. Definitely a rare sight nowadays. I think just guardsmen typically just tend to, like, you know, be the de facto like best Soviet call-in infantry, and certainly one of the best call-in infantry units in the game overall. Skirmish on the west here, grenades with the constant up here, heavy machine sitting up, but I think with the forces moving towards the centre here, I think Spagetman is focused in the wrong place. I think it's all time to realise this, need to move forces westwards, or centrewards here, as Tiramisu just applying intense pressure. The grenade squad there very quickly falls behind. Of course, the problem is now, as soon as he switches towards the centre threat here, the other squad now he can move up here. So we can see here, though, Spagetman was caught a bit flat-footed here by Tiramisu, and Tiramisu is rapidly looking to exploit their sea versus Spagetman. So definitely a bit of a sticky situation here for the Germans. Pioneer setting in there, Grenadiers reinforcing. Could take out now, could go for fourth Grenadier squad. Both paths, I'd say, are fairly open, but there you go. Squad from the victory point moving up. I mean, got a flamethrower squad now joining on this flank. Really nice maneuvering here by Tiramisu versus Spagetman in the early game. Spagetman is just struggling here to keep up with the rapid pace of Tiramisu. We've got two squads moving from the base now here, but even then the damage has been done a bit here versus Spagetman. Contra squad right out there. We got the flamethrower units moving in, and we got the Contra falling back towards the fuel point here. As Spagetman still advances, but according to Captain advance too far either, so he walks into, say, another trap here by Tiramisu. In the meanwhile, far east, then he's just moved to grab points and even laying down mines there. So thumbs up to Tiramisu so far. Strong suit early game here versus Spagetman. Fourth Grenadier squad. Definitely becoming more popular again as of late with full Grenadiers. Well, it has been popular for quite some actually. Guns being forwards there. Engineers there being shot to bits. No tech yet there for Spagetman. Definitely want to go for that soon as he's planning to go for like 5 Grenadiers. Though at that point he'd probably just bit off going for Jaeger Infantry and then a Jaeger Command Squad, honestly. Grabbing the centre victory point here. Tech on the way there for Spagetman. Got Soviet incoming forwards here for Tiramisu. We got 468 versus 500 so far. I mean, Tiramisu is off to a fairly solid start here. Again, you're leveraging the Soviet early mobility versus the Germans. Of course, Spagetman is looking to plug that in with a load of German infantry. So we'll have to see how he handles that, but aggressive MD42 play is, I find, crucial as the Wehrmacht to have a good chance. Play too passive and can easily end up conceding initiative to the opponent, so it is very important you play the MD42 actively in your engagements. On the other hand, it can then give you an edge if used properly. Support from Company for Tiramisu. Guessing a field gun here. Maybe a maximum mortar. We'll have to see what it goes for. That's definitely going to be a field gun inevitably at some point. The other question, of course, how soon does it go for the shock troopers here versus Spaget Man? I would say with 4 Grenadier squads out and about, a shock trooper squad fairly relatively soon, I think would be really good for Tiramisu because the Grenadiers definitely are going to have a slightly hard time with the shock troopers. Countering on the west side here against the Grenadiers there. Tech is done. We'll have to see what goes for next. I imagine like to make a nice company to at least an armoured car here. Grenadier squad needs to retreat up close to the conscripts. Do have a DPS edge over the Grenadiers. We got light machine guns. Could still be Jaeger Infantry, I guess, because increasingly a lot of our players, unless they're against the Americans, don't bother with the G-35s, but not been good against the Soviets, I find personally. Can now call in the shock trooper squad if he wants to. Then again, field gun first in case of an armoured car would be a pretty good idea for Tiramisu. But no, we do get the shock troopers here, the Sturmowicz as they're also known. They were basically sort of a specialist unit, assault engineers basically in the Soviet army. In their own sort of specialist detachment, they can then be attached when needed. The body armor was basically only though for urban combat, where the body armor was good against like 9mm parabellum, so pistols and some submachine guns, but rather fell short against full bolt action rifles or machine guns. So definitely not quite as good as the game gives you an impression of in terms of like overall performance with the body armor. I was moving forwards there with their PPSH-41 submachine guns. In this case with the drum magazine. Going to being opened up in the conscripts. Just need to be careful against the conscripts there. MD4 there needs to retreat. There we go. Good flank here by Tiramisu. We've got a grenade here. Hoping to get some wipes on the retreat path here. Doesn't quite. Oh, good lord, he almost does make it. I think Eddie Folks on the grenades might be able to wipe. No, he does get the machine gun, and there's no way I think Spaget Man can actually stop this. I mean, he can't stop the shock troopers. They're just absolute monsters. You can see that again. They only really don't see the most again. They do struggle against armored cars, but if your opponent doesn't have one up fast, they're going to absolutely just wreck you. And there we go. Just absolute menacing push through here by Tiramisu. Wipes the MD42, depletes numerous Grenadier squads. And now he's got a shock trooper MD42. Now that's definitely an expensive but potent combination. Spaget Man's response here to go for multiple armored cars to hit back on this socialist Marxist-Leninist menace. I cannot blame him for that, but yeah, it really does highlight that while again they're not, popular, when they do see proper uses, they can absolutely wreak havoc on the German plane, particularly if you get into the flank path, because as you notice, they have some incredible DPS. Absolutely amazing DPS. Their garment car pursuing here the shock troopers, tearing into them, which does reflect that the PPH-41 submachine gun had an incredibly high rate of fire in the actual war. Meaning it was also quite popular with German infantry who, used large numbers of them. In fact, they captured millions of them and they'd convert, I think, roughly 1 to 2 million of them towards using German ammunition. And I'm fairly certain whenever they hand out large numbers of machine guns, they're more likely equipped with the PPSH-41 than actual MP40s. So go figure on that one. So realistically, when it comes to, say, assault grenadiers, they probably more realistically should be equipped with PPSH-41s. Fun fact. Field gun on the way there for Tiramisu. This is 3 different field guns to help deal with the double armored cars, which definitely I think will help wrest control of the map somewhat back here from Tiramisu right now, but he still needs to be careful around those shock troopers. Again, they can really do some ungodly work in the right hands. They may not be as universally good as the guards we just curb against both vehicles, armor, and infantry when upgraded, but against infantry, they're just absolute monsters. We got loads of light machine subs still in command for Spaget Man and the German army. And again, kind of an expensive machine gun to recruit. He's obviously not recruiting it fully because that's going to be, well, rather a bit much there for his economy. Shock looking forward to here for Tiramisu there. Light machine guns. Not the greatest position because you see they can just quickly use the train then close in on the Grenadiers. We can see an immediate retreat here from Spaget Man's Grenadiers. There's still 3 squads, and now they do have the shock troopers on the surround. But there you go, nice smoke grenade, completely negating their advantage. There you go, rifle grenade that almost takes out the entire shock trooper squad here. Spaget Man almost had, he actually pushes forwards here. Pretty risky there by Tiramisu. They actually a chance to wipe here from Spaget Man on Tiramisu. If he can get the wipe, that'd be a huge relief here for the Spaget Man, but no, he falls a bit short, and Yevgeny makes out of there alive. So close to just getting a full shock through wipe here. Ah, it's got a sting. armored car, the conscript with the field gun stepping up front, plus of course all the conscripts with actually no snares. That is great there for the armored cars to some degree, though of course Spaget Man, you might notice, is not playing like they don't have them, because he's not going to take that chance. If he does, he's going to get punished hard very quickly. So he's playing, you know, around the conscripts as if though they did have the anti-tank grenades, which is typically what you want to do. And now we do have the grenades up anyways. The shock troopers, of course, are a bit expensive to reinforce for a Soviet player, but you know, it's basically the reinforcement cost of a grenadier. So there's the conscripts there. Conquering Moltke down to 1 man. Got the shock trooper MD-42 opening up, and the Germans fix up the armored cars. He could consider taking up. He could also consider going for a commander. We got mines on here from Tiramisu. Going up here, fix up the armored cars. Definitely rare to see like a double armored car builder from a Vanguard player, because a lot of the maps currently in the 1v1 map pool aren't particularly great for it. Amilly Fields, I think, are one of the major exceptions, but even like good maps, the trick is just having to manage 2 armored cars, because they can be a bit finicky, in particular with the pathing currently in Kameni's too, so there's like a lot of ways they could just go wrong with double armored cars. But well handled on a good map, 2 armored cars can be quite powerful. Of course, another argument could have been he could have like gone for a flame for a half-track here. I think they could also have been quite effective as a Tiramisu. Straight to mine though, in front of the field gun here. Great for Tiramisu, but not so great for Spaget Man. Chugging forward into the grenades like machine gun fire. We got the armored car doing with the cannon. We got a grenade here after the armored car. There you go, force the grenades to reposition, because obviously he can't take that chance. But right now, Tiramisu has excellent map control here versus Spaget Man. Grenades to the west side, need to push up towards the western fuel point. He needs to reconnect with his fuel fast. And certainly getting out something a bit more would help out a bunch as well. I mean, again, a Jaeger command squad with some G45s would help out, I think. Or anything, really. Yeah, Tiramisu so far has got this match fairly well under control here versus the Germans. Spaget Man is definitely also playing a bit more reservedly right now versus Tiramisu. He's definitely a bit frightened. Particularly with the shock troopers again, they can quickly turn deadly. There you go, I'm covering the particular fire from the field gun here. Forcing back the shock trooper MG42 there. Bring up these and trying to use the conscripts. Got 2 grenades for light machine guns there opening up on this third infantry. In this case, the wreckage of the armored character proves to be very helpful there for Tiramisu's men to advance. We also got them knees there. Probably should have focused them down honestly faster than the conscripts there. Machine repositioning. There we go. Gonna catch them in a pretty bad spot. But there you go. Further here, problems now as Tiramisu proceeds to bombard the MG42 with his field gun, making it further difficult for Spaget Man to stabilize versus Tiramisu. So shock was closing in there, and they are also closing in on MG2, which just makes them even better. Very rapidly. No tech yet for Spaget Man. Honestly, I think at this point his best shot is to move ahead fast, then get out some armor here versus Tiramisu. As for Tiramisu at this point, I'm starting to suspect he's going to be rushing out T-34-60 here versus Spaget Man. I don't think he's going to bother with the T-70. Could have gone that out much, much sooner. Of course, he could even like try and go for the KV-8 here. That could be a really powerful move. And of course, he's completely bananas. He may just try and stall for the IS-2 heavy tank. I wouldn't recommend it, but he could get away with it under current circumstances, kinda. Again, these shock troopers are just absolute nasty gentlemen. Spaget Man, though, again, needs to push for armor. Or maybe some Panzer Grenadiers, honestly. Yeah, command squad still could also work out there, but so far, Spaget Man is not really pulling his commander here at all. We can also see Tiramisu make great use of his units there to control the flow of battle here against Spaget Man. Going to cover the flank of the MD-42. Though even if he flanks the MD-42 when it's manned by shock troopers, it's going to be a bit of a challenge to clear out, honestly. It's going to be a bit of a challenge. In fact, you can see he just moves up the MD-42 team because it's effectively another shock trooper squad. I mean, just... I mean, the only guy who's not fighting is just the guy holding around the hay machine. He's just like, come on, guys, this is heavy. I'm wearing body armor and holding around this fascist machine gun. Could you please stop running so much? tech on the way there, and there you go, mechanized armor company. So it's got to be a T-34 from 6 KV8, or possibly the IS-2. I mean, command point wise, he's not far away from it. Spagetman going for Pack 40, number 2. He's obviously expecting to get round by something significantly heavier than a T-70 anytime soon, so I'd say that's a very sensible move, though he's still taking up, but still no commander here. Kind of commandant. We got Tiramisu lining up for another assault here. And we got Insignia appears onto the MG42 as well there. Pushed off the western field point. He also, I feel like, could have tried like maybe switching towards the eastern side of the map rather than the north side here. I think that might have worked out slightly better for Spagetman in certain circumstances. Hit some mining to treat grenadiers. But at this point, it might be too late. I mean, there's a shock trooper squad here which could get a wipe on the retreat path. Again, the shock troopers are really good at wiping retreating units. Again, their submachine guns have incredible DPS. Yeah, he should retreat as soon as he hit that mine, and honestly, at this point, there's a good chance they're going to get wiped. In that case, the shock troopers move right at that point there, so they don't actually shoot. The grenadiers might have slightly helped them, then you can see they're just doing heavy amounts of damage. Armored car, they push for the center, goes back out, so they could get a control here and see Tiramisu, and does he get it? Yes, he does get it. A small win here for Spagetman. He's also maybe a little bit able to breach Tiramisu's front line, in part because Tiramisu shifted a good part of his forces eastwards, running from the main front line, and we got here Jaeger infantry for Spagetman. Fairly late here. Again, I feel I could have gone for this Jaeger command squad sooner, that at least applied some better pressure on the conscripts. Even the shock troopers probably won't be too bothered by him either. Plus, again, mixing in some G for the feast or something like that, I think could also be helpful for Spagetman. That said, he's planning to go for ambush camouflage. Not a bad idea, but there you go. MG42 in trouble again. You can see the shock troopers are just annihilating the MG42. We got the armored car rushing to prevent them from grabbing the point, but it's looking, a machine gun is pretty rough here for Spagetman. And there you go, Rife Grenade prevents them from actually having the strength to grab it. Really close call. They magnificent Tiramisu had 2 shock trooper MG42s here versus Spagetman. The absolute nightmare that we've been to deal with. Only some quick thinking there from Spagetman saved the situation here from Tiramisu's ruthless socialist advance. No Supomaco yet. They could definitely get out the Panther 4 now. Could have acted out a bit sooner here, so I feel like that's a bit of a slip here by Spagetman, though, again, considering the current circumstances, the extreme pressure that Tiramisu is exerting upon him, and is about to exert upon him, because he's going to be hitting him with a fairly fast IS-2. I mean, we're looking at possibly, like, you know, before 20 minutes IS-2. That really sort of highlights just the amount of damage here Tiramisu has been able to do again. How the shock was just help him there, but also just the map control. Oh, he cancels, he goes for K8 instead. No, T-34, 76. Seems like Tiramisu might have been planning the IS-2 here, but again, he's starting to have like second thoughts. But you can't fault him for. Can't fault him for that. But the timing is a bit, you know, close to like start having second thoughts, honestly. Nope, he's back to the IS-2 plan. Again, he is super close. We got 298 versus 463. Graham needs to make the point. We got the gun needs for the ambush camouflage. Again, gives them a bit of boost there on the first few shots with the light machine gun, which is actually pretty good. Panther 4 there for Spagetman. Thumbs up. Finally holding some panzers. Meanwhile, Tiramisu is about to hold in the really big tanks. This is about to get explosive. And there you go. 18-minute mark. Caught in the IS-2 heavy tank. That is a fairly fast IS-2 heavy tank. Tiramisu clearly a breakthrough formation. He still got shock troopers conquering the enemy squads here. They need to retreat. Again, do not underestimate what those shock troopers can do. Panther 4 there on the way for Spagetman. Then he's all being pushed away here. Armored car catching the knees. Then we got the IS-2 rolling forwards here for Tiramisu, adding the pendulum mounted machine gun there. Packs in trouble. We got the shock troopers forwards here. Losing the packs of the shock troopers right now would be an absolute nightmare for Spagetman. And even then, the IS-2 is, you know, backed up by shock troopers, quite devastatingly uncomfortable. Panther wing forwards here. There you go. Gets the armored car. Spagetman is in a full retreat. Got the Panther wing opening up the shock troopers with the conscripts. IS-2 nearby, and of course still the field gun. Pack 40 setting up here. Shoots, misses the shock troopers with the IS-2. Does not miss the Panther 4, which is a 122mm gun. Panther 4 takes some nasty hits. IS-2 taking nasty hits as well there. Conscripts, structures push back the grenadiers, and apparently got the grenadiers don't give them the light machine guns here. Focusing down, I think, the weaker conscripts is definitely a smarter move. There you go, machine gun bunker, there's suppressing the shock troopers. Now there's just the IS-2 to deal with. Grenadiers punched out there. Thankfully for Spaget Man's sake, I missed here, but the IS-2, which takes several hits here from the Pack-40s, which punch cleanly through the frontal army of the IS-2. The MD-4 to up the shock troopers here. 2 kills still on it. Veteran 2. Need to deal with that MD-42 soon somehow. And he's also bleeding out victory points fairly fast here versus Tiramisu again, who's proceeding to pull back his IS-2 heavy tank for some much needed repairs. Fix up the Panther 4 here. And for those wondering, was there an IS-1 heavy tank? Yes, there was. It just wasn't producing like very large numbers. Also, occasions known as the IS-85, which is basically just like, you know, more up-armored in a sense T-3485. But they did see some service there, sort of an interim tank. Apparently some of them were upgraded with bigger guns. The 100mm gun, I believe. Let's fix up the Panther 4 here. Gonna need some healing. I think Spaget Man versus the IS-2 may want to consider Stug here. The Sturmgeschütz. Westside field put on what's moving threat in here by Tiramisu. Got a feeling backing that up as well. T-34 from 6mm for Tiramisu and the Red Army. Closing in the mentions one IS-2 already, though only 1 kill. They engaged by the Panther 4. We can see that Dimitri drops dead. Torn apart by a high explosive shell there from the Panther 4. IS-2 is almost good to go. Close to losing Indonesia, which is definitely a bit uncomfortable for Tiramisu. Really close call there. Really close call, but fell a bit short there. Pack 4 could move up further here for Spaget Man. Gunning moving towards the center. Before trying coming on the flank there. 19 kills on the shock troops. Going straight for the IS-2 shoots. Misses. Rive grenade on the field gun. He obviously wants it dead. Don't fold him for that. The field guns are a definite priority target here for Spaget Man. And get rid of those. That'd be a huge relief here for Spaget Man. IS-2 there bouncing 2 shots out of 3. Only 1 Pack 40 shot that goes for the frontal armor. Ground western point with engineers. Shock troopers moving towards the center. T-34 some 6 on the move. Finishes the MD-42 there. And that shock trooper MD-42 hasn't technically done a lot of killing. It still has been, I think, quite effective in having control the field against Spaget. Another Panther 4 here. Nothing wrong in that, but I really feel like there's the IS-2 definitely want some Stugs here. But I can also understand using double Panther 4s, because if you could isolate the IS-2 from infantry support weapons with the 2 Panther 4s, that could also give Spaget Man a good chance of winning. So I can see the logic there. I can see the logic, but it does require them to use the Panther 4s to basically deal with everything surrounding the IS-2 and then keep the Pack 40s focused on the IS-2. But if you can do that, I'd say there's a shot here. But he also needs to like fight a bit better here for the victory points. Punishment towards the sea. We got the IS-2 on the move again here for Tiramisu. Shocks was being hammered by the Panther 4. IS-2 then getting this Pioneer. Pushing away the shock troopers there. Fielding's moving up as well here. Double pack hits there on the IS-2. The only one penetrates. More engineers here for Tiramisu. He actually did lose an engineer squad somewhere. Second Panther 4 ready here for Spaget Man. Need to fix up that Panzerkampfwagen 4 and Schnell. Being hosed down there by the MD-42 grenades. Panther moving up here as well. Good hit there by the Panther on the T-34 from 6 field moving as well. They almost got the counterport wiped out. That'd be a pretty good wipe to get here, honestly, for Spaget Man. You should also send in the other Panther 4 if you can. I mean, it's not that heavily damaged. Get the infantry as well. He should remember he can actually use the grenadiers to sprint, but isn't still. Yeah, the assault there, follow-up there isn't quite good here for Spaget Man. I think he'd just been able to get rest of the stuff to keep up better pace. He'd need a much better position right now versus Tiramisu. Panther 4 should absolutely focus down the field gun. Need the packs to deal with the IS-2. Almost got it. If we could destroy that, that'd be a pretty big loss here for Tiramisu. And Tiramisu also destroys it. That's a pretty win here. Big win actually significantly for Spaget Man. Like, now Tiramisu's force is much smaller. Crucially, he's lost a lot of, like, elements to good damage to the Panther 4 significantly, like he's done just the IS-2 right now, so Spaget Man should A, secure as much as he can, but also fix up the Panther 4s as rapidly as he can. And get in some Stugs. So that is a significant way for Spaget Man. Really turns the game around again. So there's of course still the issue with the IS-2 heavy tank, but it's giving him some breathing space for sure. Fixing up the Pantherforce rapidly as well. Very good. Jaeger Command Squad, I think, really good addition. Or a Panzer Grenadier Squad. Another MD-42 wouldn't be half bad either, honestly. Like, there's a lot of things I think Spaget Man right now could do, but I definitely don't think he should be floating like almost 500 manpower. Don't think under the current circumstances that is optimal usage of his resources. As for Tiramisu, I mean, going from armour would be good. You could also just churn out more field guns to make up for the losses. We'll have to see. His IS-2's close to veterans. One there, got 3 kills so far. Grenadiers hiding out in an ambush. In fact, all of them are upgraded. Thumbs up, and there you go. Constantly engaged. We've got the shock trooper squad nearby. Need to retreat those grenadiers pretty fast. Might have been too late. Also, the contra, they're blocking the retreat path. Give the shock troopers more time to shoot. There you go. Grenade as well. And oh dear, we could see White Panther will rise. Veterans one game, but may not be enough to save those grenadiers. And we also got the IS-2 in there. MG42, and there you go. Wipes the grenadier squad there. Really painful. It really just shows you how little room for error you have against shock troopers against a good player. H5 there for Tiramisu. Jaeger Command Squad to replace the losses. Shoots, misses. You could also push for the Eastern Fuel Point here. You just make a run there for the MG42, and they get it. MG42 being hammered by the MG42. IS-2 shoots at the Panther. Got hit there with 122mm gun. This was the MG42 there. He's being hammered. Get it from the IS-2 and the Panther 4. Diving straight in there. I feel like you should just like ignore the rest of the force and essentially just leave the packs again to deal with the IS-2. And just try to isolate the IS-2 as much as possible. That's it, push the Panther 4 to 5, then the HG5 got conscripts there. Could have popped an anti-tank grenade, did not. And incendiary artillery are being utilised in the machine in there by Tiramisu. 132 to 405. Tiramisu quickly exploring the gap here. Made in Spaget Man's lines. We need to fix up his Panther Force fast. West we got comes to the Jaeger Command Squad to the conscript. See the G43's lines do some nasty damage fast. IS-2 engaging as well here. 5 kills. Got it from the Pack 40 there. And he's teched for tier 4. I don't really feel like this is the greatest timing for a tier 4 move here by Spaget Man. Again, I think he's just gone for like more armor of the medium kind, like an Osman could have been great, or a Stug. Honestly, like another Panther 4 would also been quite solid. But for now, there's a big problem for Spaget Man. He's got no troops on the front line. He needs to get back on the field fast here versus Tiramisu. Very fast. And honestly, one thing could also consider was just a half track so he can reinforce his troops on the front line, at least get them from the base to the front line fast. That's actually one of the advantages of having a half track, like because a lot of the time in these situations you can end up having to waste a lot of time, crucial time, moving from the base to the front line. The half track can help deal with that in a lot of ways. So, quick sort of strategic consideration here from the Master Propaganda. Well, tactical consideration as well. Operational. Anyways, concentrating out for Tiramisu. He could like consider another shock trooper squad, though that might be a bit cheeky. Got 23 kills on the shock trooper squad here so far. They have definitely done their part to make Comrade Stalin proud. And of course their babushkas. And before the Grenadiers, he shock troopers the Jaeger Command Squad here. Utterly obliterating them up close with their PPS-41s. Again, very, very powerful unit, in particular at the ace level. The DPS they possess is out of this world. Battling forwards here. Getting the H-35 here, but again the shock trooper shouldn't be ignored. As to engaging here, should probably a blitz with the Panther Force, honestly. We got strafing around here and there. Go, got the H-35 here, good kill. But again, the shock troopers are an absolute menace here, which really needs the Panther Force to deal with on Ostwind. MG40 getting flanked by the shock troops, got incendiary artillery. I mean, you just see that Tiramisu is just showing complete confusion in Spaget Man's ranks. He's trying to do the same thing to Tiramisu, but this Tiramisu shock troopers and incendiary artillery is just much better at it currently. Pack white, then second pack could also be in trouble here. Tiramisu, they're really hammering Spaget Man hard now. Shock troopers nearly avoiding him being destroyed by the Panther 4s. But the Pack 40s were not as lucky, and that's both pack crews gone here. And that's a big problem because the Panther 4s are not exactly well suited for taking on the IS-2 here. Another T-54 from 60 for Tiramisu. Panther Force trying to get away from the eyes to every tank. Pack screwed up. Infantry caught here, but the MD-42 are quickly suppressed again. That MD-42 is proving to be a massive problem there for Spaget Man. And now Tiramisu has both the Spaget Man's anti-tank guns. This is not good at all. Need to fix up this Panther Force Schnell, and I really would recommend the Stug as well here, honestly. Gunny's through the center against the MD-42 team here. Getting out of there. Gunny's being barred here by the R2 heavy tank. Panther Force from the MD-42 team. He could wipe. That'd be a huge relief here, I think, here for Spaget Man. Massive. But no, the body armor is helping out somewhat. No, he actually wipes it. He wipes it. Now there's just, you know, the problem of double Soviet packs. ODS Panther Force might actually get wiped out. He's trying to destroy the MD-42, but he's leaving himself a big target for the Soviet anti-tank guns. MD-4 sitting up here. Fixing up the VT2 Panther Force as fast as he can. No, this particular camouflage pattern, now from my understanding, is actually one applied by the British to tanks they've made themselves from captured German materials. So yeah, you could say in a sense it's historically correct, but not in the way you'd imagine. Grab these from the command squad here. Troops suppressed in 42. We got 82 versus 396. There's 2 being fixed up. 29 kills in the shock troopers. Another Panther Force for Spaget Man. And he's crewed the MD-42 this time just for the conscripts. No fancy shock troopers this time around. No Grigori left to haul it around. Panther Force and the T-34 from 6 that Indian damage, not going to do much. Well, I mean, some damage done before that, it's not going to do too much. There you go, Shock was blocking the way in the MD-42, Gunny's been forced to get the T-34 opening up, plus we got the 2 packs there. Third Panther was almost done for Spaget Man. Advancing on the centre. So the Infantry 14 forcing up, Gunny's being bombarded here by the R2 heavy tank. Veggie 2, 8 kills. Panther forming to support here, 16 kills. Veggie 2, other Panther for prime support, and we got the third one finally rounding here for Spaget Man. A large battle ensues in the centre as Spaget Man looks to push in there and get those victory points before he bleeds out. But at the same time, Tiramisu himself is launching a counterattack here. So, and looks like right now Spaget Man is definitely using the rough end of it. Pioneer is almost obliterated. Panther Force almost taken out here as Tiramisu strikes force. There you go. The Panther Force is shattered as a 122mm armor piercing shell ignite the munitions. Pack forward in the flank here. 5 shots to the R2 side armor. We got the other Panther Force in the flank here, clearing out the MD-42. I2 taking flight hits here. But Spaget Man has been thoroughly discombobulated here by Tiramisu's frontal assault there. His infantry again is a bit weakened, but he still has got so many other strong elements right now versus Spaget Man. Troops sitting out here from Spaget Man's base. We got 50 points left here for Spaget Man. Something drastic needs to happen here before Tiramisu just crashes him into the floor here. Got both packs moving in there. We got the conscript moving 40 as well. The shock troopers are waiting reinforcements again. 29 kills, 8th level. Heroes of the Soviet Union, every single one of them that survived. Pants went straight into the double packs. Not the greatest move then. Of course, we got the Arsenal as well. Then without further support here, this is not going to work too well for Spaget Man. We do have the rest of the troops around, plus the pack, but going to be a close one here. Focusing on the pack is, I think, the right choice there. Infantry's finally arriving. But there you go. One of the Panther Force down there is the Veggie 2 at that. We got artillery caught in the other line for gun here. Tiramisu's men take some hits, but the Panther 4 is going to go down here. MD-42 firing away there. Panther 4 number 2 is down. There's still the T-34-76 unaccounted for. And Tiramisu instead of moving up behind the flank, he moves straight to line of fire of the German guns. Not that it may matter. His troops are still being suppressed by the MD-42 here, which continues to be an amazing haul here for Tiramisu. With this, Spaget Man surrenders, realizing his forces have been depleted. His hopes of winning have vanished into thin air. So a nice fight here, I think, highlighting that shock rifle. While it's definitely not as potent or as popular as Garmota, is still quite potent, I think, in the right hands, and really shows where those shocks are in the right circumstances can absolutely wreak in terms of havoc against an unprepared German player. Still, Spaget, I think, could also make use of his commander faster and more efficiently. And there's some other choices, I think, here and there, I would say slightly undermined him versus Tiramisu. Particularly the tier 4 move was just a waste of resources, honestly. Typically tends to be. But there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. I've learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it, tell friends, tell family. And of course, do consider donating or pledging on Patreon, support the Propagandacast and the war effort. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers, and see you all tomorrow for another episode. Bye.